Hello and welcome back to Matthew's Tottenham Blog and to another Tottenham transfer roundup. We've got some big news to get through today, including an update that Tottenham have made an offer to Christian Eriksen. We also have had news in the last 20 or so minutes about another player that Tottenham could be stealing from under the noses of our rivals Arsenal. We have plenty more to get through, and I have my stream coming back to my ear there. I always do this, we'll turn that off. We've so much to get through. We'll also look at some potential outgoings, some updates on Emerson Royal and Steven Bergwijn, and some very positive news on Troy Parrott, who seems to want to make an impact at Tottenham as soon as he can. Before we do get into that, if you are new to the channel, do make sure to hit that subscribe button down below for more of this transfer news throughout the summer, for more updates and hopefully some more breaking news streams in the coming weeks on players that Tottenham have signed. Before we get into the main story of today, the main Christian Eriksen update, we have two bits to get through. First of all, on Djed Spence, we've had an update from Fabrizio Romano, and he has said that Tottenham are still yet to bid for Djed Spence, but new direct contacts are expected next week. And to be honest, part of me is getting a bit confused about this one with Djed Spence. And I tweeted it out a couple of days ago that for me, this Spence deal is shaping up very much like it did with Takahiro Tomiyasu last summer. And look, I'm not saying that we're not going to sign Djed Spence. I still think it's probably more likely that we do sign him. But last summer with Tomiyasu, we were for quite a while expecting something to get over the line. We were waiting for that official announcement. The line we were getting all along was that that Tomiyasu would sign all his contracts when he got back from the Olympics, where he was playing with Japan. We were waiting, then he got back from the Olympics, nothing was happening, it all died down, and then all of a sudden I think we kind of realised this isn't going to happen. We ended up getting Emerson, and Tomiyasu went to Arsenal. For Djed Spence, it's dragging on for way too long. And if Tottenham are expecting, or Tottenham are very keen to get all of their business done as early as possible, and they want to get this done before we head off to Korea next month, you'd wonder why they dragged this one out. And I know Spence was on international duty until the 14th, which is 5 days ago. I think he's on holidays at the moment, so we're apparently waiting for him to come back before we pursue something there. But why haven't we made a bid to Middlesbrough? You know, why haven't we made that move so that the second Spence is back in England or back in work mode, that we can then go and just agree the personal terms with him, get that medical done, and get the deal over the line as soon as possible? For me, there's no real reason why we would be holding off on making that bid or putting in anything official with Middlesbrough unless there was something else going on. And look, we know these smoke screens that Parrott likes to use. We all know all too well the business that Parrott does. But for me, I think it's one to keep an eye on, maybe potential developments elsewhere. I see someone mentioning, was it Rune mentioning Joachim Mele in the live chat? There is a semi-update on him, I suppose, from a source I'm not too keen on, but we'll talk about that. And the breaking news coming from DiMarzio, I don't know if it's breaking news, but Joshua told me to use the breaking news banner, so we will. And this is news of Tottenham potentially ripping another player from underneath the noses of that lot over the other side of North London. And Gianluca DiMarzio has said that Tottenham are moving under the radar to try to buy Gabriel Jesus. Now, I want to look at this two different ways. First of all, the news as it is. Well, we know Tottenham do have an interest in Gabriel Jesus. We've had an interest for the majority of the window, really. It's a deal I think earlier on in the window we were more keen on maybe getting done. Perhaps since then other targets have come up. We're talking about Richarlison and Rafinha a lot in the last couple of weeks. Jesus, I think, fits into the style of player that Tottenham might want to bring in, because he can play anywhere across that front line. He has Premier League experience. You know, in the league last season he scored 8 goals and got 8 assists, going on to win yet another Premier League title for his trophy cabinet. And okay, it makes sense if this is a move Tottenham are trying to get done. And like we did with Yves Bissouma, Tottenham do like to get deals done under the radar, behind the scenes. Zoe and Tony, great to see in the live chat. So it would be typical Tottenham fashion if that did happen. Now, on the flip side, the source is Gianluca DiMarzio, and I think we have to be very careful when we're looking at links for Tottenham coming from the Italian media, especially coming from DiMarzio, because it's happened all too often that Parrott has used the Italian media to spin a story that he wants to be spun, and then he can get other things done behind the scene. I still think that was the case with that story about us moving for Pau Torres the night that the Bastoni deal fell apart. I think Tottenham there were trying to force Inter Milan or Bastoni into making that decision, because if we had been going for Pau Torres, if they ended up needing to sell, or if Bastoni ended up wanting to leave, that option may have been gone. So we forced them into making that decision, which ultimately went against us, but at least we knew that earlier on than if it was still dragging on now. This could be something with Tottenham reportedly making a bid for Lautaro Martinez, other reports saying that we're working hard to get Richarlison, Rafinha as well. This could be just something put out there by Tottenham to try and make things happen elsewhere that could speed up things that we want to do. So I'm very sceptical about that, but it is quite funny that we could be maybe getting another player from, like I said, underneath the noses of Arsenal. Now, the one that you're all here to hear about, the one that I think we all want to get done. Give me a yes in the live chat if you want to see Eriksen back in a Tottenham jersey. Charlie Eccleshare said yesterday that it is a direct battle between Brentford and Spurs for Christian Eriksen's signature. Now, David Ornstein told us last week that Manchester United had made an offer to sign Christian Eriksen. Other reports saying that his agent is looking for a huge fee. Eriksen may be looking for up to £350,000 in wages. I haven't seen that from a reliable source, but those rumours are out there nonetheless. But Eccleshare is saying that it's between Brentford and Spurs. He said that Man United have made an offer for Christian Eriksen, but the midfielder would like to stay in London. I think Alistair Gold gave us that line a couple of weeks ago, that Eriksen would prefer to stay in London. And looking at what's happened with him in the last couple of years, leaving London to go to Milan. Then, of course, everything that happened at the Euros, he ended up training with a team in Denmark for a while. Then he was moving to the Netherlands to train with Ajax. Then he got that move to Brentford, so he's moved to London with his family, his young children. He may not want to just keep moving them around the place. So it does make sense that he would want to stay in London. And of course, it's a place that he knows very well, having played with Tottenham for almost a decade. So it makes a lot of sense. And look, on the front of who is actively trying to sign Christian Eriksen, it's Fabrizio Romano, who has told us that Christian Eriksen has 3 offers on the table from Brentford, Spurs and Manchester United. He is set to make his decision in the coming days. So I think we're on the brink of a decision from Christian Eriksen, and it's very important that Tottenham have made an offer, and Tottenham are well and truly in the mix there to get a deal done. And look, if it's between us and Brentford, I think Tottenham win that every day of the week. As Teo says there, no way Brentford or Spurs will pay 300k a week. We need to get younger through. I don't think Eriksen is demanding that much. I don't think he can demand that much. I certainly don't think he will. I think that's just speculative and maybe exaggerated reports on trying to get the clicks. They all do. But look, Tottenham are well and truly in the mix. There is a sense of confidence within Tottenham that a deal can be done. And if it's between us and Brentford, like I said, we have Champions League football, and Eriksen has been quoted as saying he would love to play in the Champions League again, but he's also said it's not really essential for him, which I think is what opened the door for Manchester United and really increased the confidence on that side that they could maybe bring Eriksen into the club. But if he doesn't want to leave London and he wants Champions League, it seems inevitable that it will be Tottenham he ends up at. Of course, the other option there is Chelsea, but it's very unlikely that either party would try and pursue a move there. Chelsea at the moment actually looking as though they may bring in Raheem Sterling, another player that Tottenham were linked with earlier in this window. But things are going to happen in the coming days, in the coming couple of weeks with Christian Eriksen. I think we will know maybe by the end of the month if Christian Eriksen will be back in a Spurs shirt before the end of this transfer window. And like I see in the live chat there, everybody is coming in with a yes. I think everyone does want to see him back. And Conte is a massive fan of Eriksen. Eriksen, quite like Perisic actually, wasn't a big part of that Antonio Conte team in his first season at Inter Milan, but he managed to get into that team rather consistently in a very important way in that second season when Antonio Conte went on to end Inter Milan's run of 11 years without a league title. So there's definitely a lot of love there, a lot of affection, and Conte's left the door open every time he's been asked about it. Back in January when Christian Eriksen completed that deal to join Brentford, Conte and Eriksen were living in the same hotel, and Conte spoke about his interactions and refused to rule out a move for Christian Eriksen back to Spurs. We've got George Bannister in the live chat. Great to see you, George. Says his agent asked United to make him their highest paid player. That was obviously laughed off the table. Do wonder where that's gone from there. And look, maybe that could be a thing. Eriksen is demanding more money from Manchester United because it's, of course, out of his way. He has to leave London, and they're a club who don't have as tight a wage structure as Tottenham do and as low a budget as Brentford do. And look, I know obviously Tottenham's wage structure has been somewhat shattered in the last couple of years, but if he's asking for £350,000, I don't think that's going to happen, and I'm sure Eriksen knows that. But maybe it was just, if he felt he had to go to United, maybe something to sweeten the deal a little bit for him. But again, I don't think he'll be asking for that from Tottenham or Brentford. Time Sport have also put out an article today. They said that Tottenham are now targeting a left-sided centre-back, a right wing-back and a wide forward, with the added possibility of a Christian Eriksen reunion. And I think one of the key things we can take from Tottenham's pursuit of Christian Eriksen is we obviously have our set targets, and I don't think at the beginning of the window, or if we don't get Christian Eriksen, that a number 10 or a creative midfielder of that style, a playmaker, will really be anywhere on Tottenham's list of priorities. And I think it was 2 years ago when we signed Sergio Reguilon, one of the lines we were getting was that Tottenham wanted a right winger, we wanted a centre mid, whatever the positions were, but with the added clause that Tottenham would pursue any opportunities that arise throughout the window. And I think Tottenham are in a very similar situation right now. There's 6-7 positions that we'd identified as targets that we absolutely needed to improve on. We've done that in some regard. We're still trying to get deals done elsewhere. But if opportunities arise for Tottenham in this window, even if it's not a deal or a position that we thought of at the beginning of the window, we will pursue something there. And Christian Eriksen seems to be a player that fits perfectly into that. And it's very difficult to identify any other players that may fall into that, may fall under that umbrella. But I think it's one to keep an eye on, that although we're prioritising a left centre-back, a right wing-back and a forward, that we could end up signing a centre midfielder, an attacking centre midfielder, other than Basuma, who I think again was one of those that have been identified early on, which just adds to the excitement of a Tottenham transfer window. A few less reliable reports on Eriksen. Dean Jones has said that Christian Eriksen does not have a strained relationship with Antonio Conte, contrary to conflicting reports. And to be honest, I didn't see any reports saying that he did. The Daily Mirror said that Christian Eriksen wants to test himself in the Champions League again and has a strong affinity for Tottenham fans ahead of his decision on his next club. ESPN also say that Brentford are increasingly resigned to losing Christian Eriksen to a Premier League rival, which again seemed likely to be Tottenham. Now, a player that we're less sure of whether or not he will be joining the Premier League is Gleison Bremer, but he has spoken himself on his future, and he has confirmed that he will be leaving. He will be leaving Torino. Bremer himself, via Fabrizio Romano, said, "It's just a matter of time, and then I'm going to leave Torino. I'm considering some proposals. We will see." So there's more than one there. We know there's a proposal from Inter Milan. It seems as though he's actually agreed personal terms with Inter Milan, but the Italian club at the moment are struggling to agree a deal with Torino. I think, like I said in every stream so far, Inter Milan need to sell before they can make a deal of that size, and we were hoping it would be Bastoni, but it's looking increasingly unlikely that would be the case. Maybe it's Martinez, who knows? But if Tottenham can sneak in there and get a deal done, potentially there's a proposal already been made. Again, Bremer saying there's more than one proposal for him. There's reports that he wants to stay in Italy because he's a few months away from getting his citizenship, so he can then play with the Italian national team. I'm not sure how true that is. I personally haven't seen the sources that it's come from. Tony, congratulations on getting your first season ticket. Everyone say congratulations, Tony, for getting his first season ticket. But it'll be interesting to see where the Bremer deal goes, because if he is keen to get out of Torino, as it sounds, an uncertain future with Inter Milan and waiting around week on week on week trying to see if a deal can get done, he may get impatient and may just decide to go elsewhere, and it could end up being Juventus, it could end up being Bayern Munich. Nobody really knows where he's going to go. Inter Milan are the only team that I think have very publicly made that offer for him. We don't know for sure the other teams. We would hope that it's Tottenham, but time will tell on that one. A couple of other, again, less reliable reports on Gleison Bremer. Tuttosport have said that he wants to join a Champions League club, and Torino will demand €40 million. Sport Media Set also saying that pressure from Tottenham to sign Bremer has increased over the last week, with Torino wanting at least €35 million for the defender. AJ saying, Matt, apparently Paratici has put the Jesus news in the press to work on other deals. I kind of had the same feeling. I was talking about that at the start of the stream. AJ, if you want to go back and have a look. But it could go either way with Paratici, to be honest. You never really know. Purav has joined the Championship Members Club. Thank you very much for that, Purav. I really do appreciate the support. Right, on to our next story, and it is Evan Ndicka, as I've learned it's pronounced. This is a very interesting one for Tottenham, and a player who, personally, I don't know all too well, but from people whose footballing opinions I absolutely value, especially when it comes to European football, to German football, they seem very keen on a potential deal for the Frankfurt left centre-back. We Are Tottenham TV, who have proved to have very decent sources, have said that understand Spurs are currently negotiating with Eintracht Frankfurt for Evan Ndicka. Also hearing he has emerged as one of the top targets as of now for the left centre-back role, as it's believed that deals for Bastoni and Josko Vardiol look impossible. Not necessarily our current number one, though. And again, we're going to hear talks for these centre-backs, personal terms for these centre-backs, whatever, for so many different players because of the way that we're doing business at the moment. But Um, Evan Ndicka, from what I've seen, seems to be the perfect style of player, the perfect calibre of player, and perfect in every way to play in Tottenham's left centre-back role. He's very positive in possession. He's very competent on the ball. He's, of course, good defensively as well. He's left-footed. He's playing on the left side. And he just fits every demographic that I think Tottenham are looking for on that side of the pitch. And I was going to have a quick look at what age he is. I think he's about 25. Just confirm that again. He's not a young one for the future. He's not an older player who may only have a year or two. As Farag says, he's very tall. Aidan, thank you very much for subscribing. My laptop is failing me at the moment, but yeah, Ndicka is a very interesting link. There's a couple more reports on it. Foot Mercato said that Tottenham are currently in pole position to sign Evan Ndicka, while Foot Mercato via Bild have said that Frankfurt want £19 million for the Tottenham target. And again, that's another reason that maybe it does fit into what Tottenham want. 22, everyone is saying he is. 22 or 23, so he's even younger than I thought, but he's a player who has experience and has played at the top level. I mean, of course, did he win the Europa League with Frankfurt last season? I saw a good friend of the channel, THFC Contatici, maybe even in the live chat on Twitter, saying take a look at the second game he played against West Ham in the Europa League semi-final, where he looked fantastic and he controlled the game. And look, if he's a player that has done well against West Ham, I think that's good enough reason to get him in. He's played 104 times for Frankfurt since joining them in 2018, so he's been right in that team since the young age of whatever, 18 or 19. So look, it's a very interesting link, and one that if it materialises even more, if it looks maybe though Tottenham will get that done, we'll have a full player profile and a full analysis of him, hopefully with a Frankfurt fan if I can find one, and we'll look more in depth at him. A few other little bits before we move on to outgoings. Miguel Delaney has added further to his news that Tottenham could challenge Manchester United for the signing of Ajax and Brazilian winger Antony. He said that Tottenham are willing to offer Steven Bergwijn as a replacement in a deal for Antony, and it's very well documented that Ajax are keen on signing Steven Bergwijn. It's a deal that is actively being worked on. I think every link Tottenham have at the moment, there is a part of it that maybe it's just an easy link to put out there because of these swap deals that we like to do. You know, we've heard of Lo Celso for Torres, Lo Celso for Stupinian, Lo Celso for Carrasco at Atletico Madrid. We've heard of now this one with Antony Steven Bergwijn. It's just going on and on and on. But one to keep an eye on, Miguel Delaney, most notably this summer, was first to the news that Tottenham had finalised the deal for Ivan Perisic. Not the most reliable, but I think we have to take him seriously when he got that news out there first. On Lautaro Martinez, Alfredo Padula has doubled down on the story that he put out a couple of nights ago that I think was laughed off by the majority of Tottenham fans, including myself. I see it unlikely, but he's a good source, so we'll go through it. Again, Padula was the first to the Conte news back in October. He has said that on Lautaro, we can confirm a mega offer will arrive, at least from one club. Tottenham is that one club, but we do not exclude others. That offer will be evaluated. The will of the striker is to stay. We will understand more soon. And as Fabrizio Romano said the other day, that Martinez has recently opened up a restaurant in Milan. He's very, very happy where he is, and it could be quite difficult to lure him away from Inter Milan, as has proven the case with every single player that is linked with a move away from the San Siro this summer. And one of them has to go. Something has to give between Bastoni, Skriniar, Martinez, and maybe you could put Nicolo Barella in that mix. Skriniar seems somewhat keen to make that move to PSG, but they don't seem to want to stump up the cash that Inter Milan are asking for. So it could be a Bastoni or a Martinez that are on the way out, and you'd have to imagine that Tottenham would be very close to the front of that queue if something was to materialise there. Another one, maybe just keep an eye on, doesn't exactly relate to Tottenham, but Independent Sport have said that Blackburn Rovers could listen to offers for Ben Brereton Diaz this summer. They might ask for £20 million, so let's keep an eye on that one. On departures, another small update on Emerson Royal. Diario AS have said that Atletico Madrid are trying to convince Tottenham to sell Emerson Royal on loan with a purchase option, but it is proving difficult. So they want to get him on loan now to buy him, or maybe buy him either next season or the season after. And with the fact that Tottenham want to reinvest all sales back into the squad, you'd imagine that if we're going to lose a player like Emerson, who I think the reason we're trying to sell him more than Matt Doherty is because we get more money for Emerson, because he's younger, of course can develop more in a different league. I think will suit different leagues better. It kind of defeats the purpose if we're going to loan him out with the option to buy. As Matt Sin says, getting the likes, guys and gals, please do hit that like button if you're enjoying the stream. We've got 970 watching. and we are not even on 200 likes. So please do smash that like button. Let's get that up to 300, and do make sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're hoping to get to 15k before the end of the month. We're about 155 off at the moment, so please do show your support down below. But yeah, look, I think for that reason that Emerson will attract more money. I think we will get him out this summer. There's no point in having 3 wing-backs, which is why we're trying to sell Reguilon on the other side as well. So hopefully something can happen. Maybe, as I was saying with Spence, it could be a smoke screen. Maybe what's happening there is that we're waiting for Emerson to go before we can bring in Spence. Maybe there's a funds issue there, and maybe we're trying to make that direct swap, and if Emerson isn't going to go, we bring in Spence and end up with 3. We're in a very bad position, and we could end up having to release someone like we did with Serge Aurier last season. Highly unlikely, but that is a position we could end up in. On Steven Bergwijn, the never-ending saga, and one that feels like it could rumble on for the rest of the window. Fabrizio Romano said that Steven Bergwijn deal between Ajax and Tottenham is absolutely on. All parties are in contact, but it's not fully agreed yet. So this deal is still on. Ajax still trying to get it done. We had a bit of false hope the other day, and I say false hope because I think it's a deal we need to get done, not because I wanted to get done. I'd rather see Bergwijn stay personally. But there's a fake account of Mike Verwey from the Telegraph, who, as I've said from January when Ajax were interested, he's the #1 source for this move. There was a fake account of him that said a deal had been agreed, and actually Alfredo Padula fell for that and did an article on it as well, but it's certainly not the case. A deal has not yet been agreed. But we'll keep an eye on that one. On Troy Parrott, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, he's working very hard in pre-season. He's been seen at a fitness camp or player development camp in Mykonos in Greece, where apparently a lot of big footballers go and do very, very well. We know from Alistair Gold that Tottenham will look to loan Troy Parrott out again next season. He's doing very well for Ireland, to be honest. He scored a great goal in that win against Scotland, assisted by Michael Obafemi. And that's where I think it's interesting. There are links for Troy Parrott to go to Swansea, where he could end up with Michael Obafemi to further develop his game. He's quoted recently as saying, "All I can do is try to impress whoever is there, and that's what I fully intend doing when I go back to Tottenham for pre-season." So maybe he's trying to convince us that he's ready for the step up to the first team. I'll be honest, as an Ireland fan, I don't really think he is, but I hope I'm wrong. And I hope he goes on and scores 20 goals next season. Of course I do. Some lesser or unknown reliability reports, and we have a few to get through because I didn't run through them on Friday when we had our fantastic guests on, so we'll run through these very quickly. The Daily Mirror are saying that Tottenham are considering a move for Bayer Leverkusen and left-footed centre-back Piero Hincapié. The Daily Mail and the Daily Sun are saying that Tottenham will be told they have to pay £34 million to Bayer Leverkusen to get Hincapié into the club. Ekram Koner, the least reliable source I've ever seen in the transfer market, I think fell for that fake account as well. He said Steven Bergwijn is about to transfer to Ajax for £20 million. I don't think he is. Gary, thank you for subscribing. Football Insider say that Everton have opened talks regarding Harry Winks, with Tottenham demanding £20 million for his sale. Goal Brazil say that Tottenham may face a wait if they are keen on signing Richarlison. The Brazilian has told his agents he will only make a decision on his future when he returns from the holiday in late June or July. BBC said that Fabio Paratici is still thought to be interested in Gareth Bale's situation this summer. Ben Jacobs say that Tottenham are back interested in signing Milan Skriniar. Inter Milan wants £69 million, but may be forced to drop that price. PSG have bid £42 million and are prepared to go to 55. Tony Juan Marti says that although Spurs and Chelsea are interested in Rafinha, it is Arsenal who are moving with more intensity to sign the Brazilian. According to Ryan Taylor of the Daily Express, Lucas Moura wants to stay at Tottenham and see out the final 2 years of his contract. He's also told us that Pau Torres has been the subject of initial swap deal discussions with Villarreal and Tottenham in exchange for Giovanni Lo Celso. Dean Jones says that moving on Tanguy and Ndombele is proving difficult and has become one of Tottenham's main priorities this transfer window. Calciomercato in Italy are linking Tottenham to Napoli striker Victor Osimhen. They said there's interest there from Spurs. They also say that Juventus could offer Merih Demiral to Tottenham this summer in exchange for Sergio Reguilon, as they value both players at around €25 million. And Tipsbladet in Denmark have reported that Tottenham have expressed an interest in signing Joachim Mæhle. The club recently scouted him while he was on international duty with Denmark. Atalanta have no intention of selling the defender this summer. Eamon says over 1k watching and only 252 likes. Come on, guys. That's right. Come on. Let's get that number up. It really helps out every streamer when you hit that like button. It lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the content, and it'll push it out to more and more Spurs fans so we can continue to grow this community. What I'm going to do for about 10 or 15 minutes, any transfer questions you have, get them into the live chat, and I'll run through as many of those as I can. Of course, I'll be taking ones from normal comments, but if you want to guarantee that you jump to the top of the queue, if you put in a super chat, it's a good way to support the channel, and you'll get your question answered straight away. But get those into the chat, and we'll see what people want to know and what we can talk about. David says Leverkusen have Wirtz and Diaby, and we're looking at Hincapié. No way, Hitchin's gone. Well, I imagine we're looking at Hincapié because we need a left-sided centre-back, to be honest. And from what I've seen, he can play left centre-back, left back, and left wing-back. So Wirtz and Diaby aren't really in positions that we are prioritising. So I think that's why it will be Hincapié. Store says anything on Hakimi. There's nothing on Hakimi from any source or any reliable outlet out there. It seems to be one that's being fueled by Tottenham fans, and I was talking to a friend of mine on Twitter, and we were saying that although there's no reason to expect that something could happen with Hakimi, there's no actual links, there's no interest or no active interest that we know of from Tottenham. Part of me is thinking we could get him, and we're not going to get him, but it's just the confidence that Fabio Parrott has brought into us, and we start to think, we start to dream of the impossible when you have a man like him recruiting for your football club. Hakimi would be absolutely 100% ideal, perfect. Couldn't think of a better right back to bring in, but realistically, it's not going to happen. Smokehouse Stu says, do you like Hincapié? To be honest, I don't know too much about him. I don't want to pretend I do just because it's optimistic. Like I said with Ndicka, if things do start to progress, I'll look into him a whole lot more, and I'll have an answer on that. But for now, I'm afraid I can't. Pourav says, just a thought: if we're not able to sell one of Ndombele or Gio, will Conte give them another chance this season? I don't think so. Lo Celso looks likely to leave, whether it's to Villarreal or to Atletico Madrid. With Ndombele, I think we just loan him out again if we can't sell him, because he's on £200,000 a week. It's a lot of money to pay for a kind of backup player, or someone who's just maybe even training with the youth academy has been made to do in the past. After what he did against Morecambe, there's no place in this team for Ndombele, and I think we'll find a solution either way. But none of them will include him being on the football pitch, in my opinion. Adrian Soroka says, have we shown any interest in Depay? Earlier in the window, there were links to Depay. If I remember correctly, Gerard Romero, who is a very reliable source for Barcelona, said that Tottenham had actually made an offer for Memphis Depay. And I'm going to try to find the report here. Fabrizio Romano said back on the 12th of April that Depay is not a priority for Tottenham right now, but the relationship between Tottenham and Barcelona is very good. Keep an eye on Spurs and Barcelona. In the summer, there could be some possible deals to discuss together. So maybe there's another player from Barca, but I remember Romero did say that Tottenham had made an offer to sign Depay, but that went very quiet, very, very quickly. Windrider said, is the Bastoni deal completely cold now, or is Paratici still stirring? To be honest, I think the reason we're not moving quickly for another left centre-back is because there is still a bit of hope with Alessandro Bastoni. And look, at this point, I don't think it's going to happen. I think he will stay at Inter Milan, but the fact of the matter, again, is that Inter Milan need to sell at least one big player. It could be Bastoni. If he's the one that is attracting the most interest, if he's the one that they can actually agree a deal for, well then, great. That's good news for us. But it could be another player that goes. Everyone is mentioning Jesus. We spoke about that at the start of the stream, the news from DiMarzio. So if you want to have a look at that, it was back probably within the first 5 minutes of the stream, to be honest. Adrian as well saying, what about Longley from Barca? That seems to have gone very cold. There was talk of a potential loan deal, but Longley's wages are too high. So if I had to guess right now, well, I don't think we'd be bringing in Clement Longley. John Fitzpatrick says, is there any links with us and De Ligt? That's the type of centre-back we need. Not that I know of, not that I've seen. De Ligt, I think, is being talked about of maybe the next captain for Juventus, so I think he'll be staying there and probably long-term, with the departure of Chiellini and Bonucci, Razagli over the last couple of years, whatever. I think Juventus are looking for their new long-term club legend centre-back, and I think within the club they probably see De Ligt as that, and I don't really blame them, to be honest. I think De Ligt would be happy to be that player as well, so I wouldn't expect anything to happen on him. Zoe says, do you think both Tanganga and Rodon both out the door this summer, either on loan or being sold? Yeah, I expect Joe Rodon to go. I'll be quite surprised actually if he doesn't, even if it is only on loan. Nottingham Forest are being spoken about as a team who are interested in him. rejoining Steve Cooper, who he of course played under. Did he play under him at Swansea? I'm not sure if he did, but there's that Swansea link there anyway. Tanganga, I think, will be one if the right offer comes in, if the right deal comes in. I think he'll go. I doubt it's a priority. I would argue if there was a list of priorities, it'd be Joe Rodon, then Davinson Sanchez, then Tanganga. But I think Rodon is the only one that the club are actively trying to get rid of. David saying by Barella. To be honest, I don't think we need Barella at the moment. With the way with bringing in Yves Bissouma, I don't really think it's much of a priority or one that we kind of actively need to do. Okay, if maybe like I was saying earlier, if these opportunities arise, go for it, absolutely. But it's probably not top of the list, and it's probably a more difficult one to get done than Bastoni, I'd say, because Barella hasn't really been linked to a departure. So I wonder if within the club that they've decided he's too good to go. We got a super chat from the Lion Sam. I'm not sure what currency that is, but I thank you nonetheless for it. Says, do you think we have enough clues from Parrott Conte's squad building to say with confidence that we'll be playing more than just one system next season? I do. I do think we have enough clues from that. Again, thank you for the super chat. It is appreciated. And I've mentioned this a lot with our links to Christian Eriksen and probably with Lautaro Martinez as well. With Eriksen potentially coming in as the number 10, we have the ability to change more towards a formation of what Conte played at Inter Milan, which is the 3-4-1-2, which is it's very similar to what we play now because of how narrow our wingers come and how Kane drops deep, but it'd be that on paper, I suppose, and we have two natural central strikers with Kane and whoever we might bring in. With Bissouma coming in, I think we have the ability to maybe go to a 3-man midfield. It could be a 3-5-2, which again, Conte did utilise at Inter Milan, where it could be Bentancur, Højbjerg and Bissouma. Incredible midfield, to be honest. So yeah, I do think we will look to be a bit more versatile next season. And it makes us unpredictable, which can only be a good thing. And of course, it gives Conte more options, which he spoke very much about not having towards the end of the season. So fingers crossed that is the case, and fingers crossed he's happy with it. Zoe says, what squad numbers do you predict our new signings or potential new signings will take? I think Bissouma will take number 8, which is bad news for Harry Winks, so I think we expect to go on anyway. And with Ivan Perisic, there's a number that he's worn everywhere. My laptop isn't working, so I can't check it. Is it 33? It's not 33. Ben Davies is 33. Is it 44? Is 4 the number he's had everywhere? Is it maybe 14 and 44 he's worn? With Dane Scarlett went out on loan, maybe Perisic could take number 44. It could be 14. Who's 14 at Spurs at the moment? Is Joe Rodon number 14? Let me know if we have a number 14. But I think it would be one of those for Perisic. I think Alistair Gola said the same. He likes the number 4. He's worn it everywhere he's been. So yeah, probably one of those. Fraser Forster, I'm not sure. It doesn't really matter really. He can take 125 for all I care. What other questions do we have? Paul says, why are United no longer linked to Eriksen? It's because he wants to stay in London. He prefers to stay in London. He wants Champions League. He's asked them for too much money. Seems to be a combination of things that have ruled him out of a deal there. Arpita says, is Anthony an upgrade on Kulu? Are we looking for a Zimhen backup centre forward or some type player who can play across? Anthony, I wouldn't say is an upgrade on Kulusevski. Kulusevski is just unbelievable, and I don't think there are many players we could bring in that would be an upgrade on Kulusevski, mainly because of how his style is. It's very unique and it's added so much to our attack that I don't think we'd find a better player who plays that same way. We could find a better player who plays a different way, but I'm not sure that would help our front line very much. And in terms of the striker, we're looking for, it looks to be a player more along the lines of Son, where he can play in those different positions. I don't know too much about his Zimhen, but I'm pretty sure he's an out-and-out striker. So yeah, it does seem to be a player who can play more across the front line, which maybe is why those Lautaro Martinez links might not be as genuine as we would hope. Eamon says, is Rafinha an upgrade in Kulu? Again, I wouldn't say so. We can debate the quality all day long, but even on style, I wouldn't say so. Darkson G with the super chat, thanks Wendy for that, my friend, says, I love how players don't want to go to Man U now. It's brilliant. I don't know if anyone saw the leaked videos of Richard Arnold, the new director of football, or he's replaced Ed Woodward at Man United, talking to fans and being secretly recorded about everything, and he didn't seem too happy with the state of the club. It's funny to see, to be honest. It is very, very funny to see. Hussein saying Joao Palhinha, I haven't seen any links to him this summer. I know there was a lot last summer and throughout January, mainly coming from Portugal. But again, with Basuma signed this summer and with Bentancur signed in January, I'd be very surprised if we're looking at another midfielder of that style, or another midfielder who isn't a number 10 or a playmaker. Dean says, Matt, looking forward to following you next season. I've been watching your podcast the last few weeks. Thank you very much, Dean. I appreciate that. Adam makes the point that Eriksen turned down United before he went to Inter. Zoe says, what is the most satisfying thing, or proactive business, or the rival meltdowns? That's probably the toughest question I've ever been asked on a live stream. Everyone, let me know your thoughts in the comments in the live chat. What's more satisfying, or proactive business, or the rival meltdowns? I'd have to go rival meltdowns, because in a weird way, the proactive business has made me a little bit impatient. And I know Dave at the Irish Hotspur, a fantastic friend of the channel, put up on Twitter yesterday that he was getting bored because there was no news, and I think it's made us a little bit impatient. Like, we go 2 days without a signing, we're like, what's this? What's going on? What's Parrott doing? What's Levy doing? So there's a weird roundabout negative with that, I suppose, but the meltdowns are fantastic. Seeing Arsenal bring in Fabio Vieira for 40 million and try to tell us that's a better signing than Basuma for 25 million pounds, it's brilliant. You have to enjoy that. Darren says, Matt, do you think Højbjerg is underrated? I think Højbjerg is underrated by some and overrated by others. He's a brilliant player for us. He is. I wouldn't sell him for the world. And when that report came out yesterday from Gary Jacob, which by the way he retracted, I thought it'd be a massive mistake to sign or to sell Højbjerg. But I also don't think he's in our first choice midfield next season. I'd rather play Basuma and Bentancur, but Højbjerg as an option for rotation to play in certain games. We come up against I know Burnley aren't in the Premier League anymore, but a Burnley type team. I think he's brilliant to add in there just for that physicality and that fight within him. But I wouldn't say I think he's fairly rated if you balance out the opinions, if that makes sense. Lazy 8 Nick says, I know that nobody cares about me and his brother, but what's going on with Dele? Is he staying at Everton? To be honest, I don't know. I follow Dele Alli on Instagram, which I've now deleted, but he's off enjoying these holidays. He's going all over the place. He's having a great time. But I'd say he'd stay at Everton. I don't think things went bad enough for him to be let go. And if he does, I'm pretty sure Tottenham don't get any money from that deal. From what we do know, I assume Daniel Levy has something in that deal that we get something if he doesn't play the 20 games. But I'm not sure. I'd be surprised if he leaves though. Simon says, Matt, you still haven't put your stadium picture back up straight. I haven't. I need to get something that can stick it up properly, because it's been up there for like over 2 years, maybe at least a year, and it's come down. You can still see the kind of tape just there. I can't get it up properly, so I need to figure out how to get it up there long term again. It does really confuse me when I see in my camera here that it's on the side, but look, we'll sort it out. Darkson G again with another super chat says, the good thing about our midfield is that they are hard as a rock. As long as Skip stays fit next season, our midfield will hopefully be non-injury prone. And look, if we have Basuma, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Skip all fit for the season, unbelievable. That's an incredible midfield, and we're definitely going places with it. So hopefully we can. And like you say, they're hard as a rock. You know, I saw someone question there Bentancur's or Højbjerg's physicality. When he flies into a challenge, he flies into a challenge. So I won't question that. People are saying screws and nails. I don't want to put nails through it because I don't even know what material it is, to be honest. But it's not one that I want to put nails through. I want to keep it in good nick. We'll find something. Simon says Gorilla Glue. We'll figure it out. Thanks for the suggestions. Richard Blackdog with a £5 super chat. Thanks very much for that. Says possibly Bentancur, Basuma, and Højbjerg in midfield. Oh my days! Anyone got a tissue? Look, it's an unbelievable midfield. Let's be honest. Like last season, that midfield was brilliant with our first choice. The main problem we had was once Skip got injured, our only backup option was Harry Winks, and I don't think anyone wants that. But that is a fantastic midfield, and again, you're not even mentioning Skip. So it's exciting. It's getting very exciting. But thank you for the super chat, Richard. I appreciate it. Mehdi says Højbjerg can't score. He has no accuracy. Højbjerg pulls one out every now and then. He pulls out a great goal. He scored one against Liverpool the season before the one that just ended. There was another one that he's done. I think kind of like Basuma, you wouldn't class him as a scoring midfielder, but every now and then he'll do a Wanyama against Liverpool, for example, where he plucks one out. John says Paddy nip around and sort it out for him. Zoe says this chat Q&A is awesome, Matt. Thanks a million, Zoe. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Zoe as well says Bentancur is literally hobbling after games last season and started the next game. He is a machine, absolute machine. Wagyu says, has Jesus signed for Arsenal? He hasn't, but the latest we have from Gianluca Di Marzio is that Tottenham are working under the radar to get a deal done there. So, excuse me, maybe he'll end up in a Spurs jersey next season. John says Højbjerg scored against Rennes, Villa and Leeds. I think it was the Leeds one I was thinking about. John, the fountain of Spurs knowledge as always. Ben Kaufman, good to see you in the live chat, my friend. Simon says poor Pape Matar Sarr, where does he fit into all this? I think he'll be loaned out again. I'd be surprised if he is seen as a first team option, especially with those 4 players we have at our disposal at the moment anyway. So I think we'll see him loaned out, preferably not to Metz again next season, but we'll see. Please do make sure everyone to hit that like button. We're not even on 400 likes yet. We've over 1100 watching. So please hit that, show some support for the channel. And like I said, do make sure to subscribe down below for more of this content throughout the summer. And if you're enjoying this live Q&A, we'll do them at the end of every transfer stream. So if you're enjoying these, give me a yes in the live chat and hit that subscribe button down below. We'll take a few more questions. Poor says, I think something is brewing with Parrott with number of links emerging every day. We can expect a surprise deal in the next 10 days. I think we can, and that's where this excitement comes from. It's been quiet over the weekend, which look, it always is. You don't expect much to happen over the weekend, but we could turn around tomorrow and Ashraf Hakimi could be announced. I mean, it won't, but we could have something like that. We weren't expecting on Sunday. We were hearing of this player due at Hotspur Way. We don't know who it is, and all of a sudden his agent was sick, so he couldn't come. Or come to Monday, Tuesday, and we're starting to question, is that even real? And then by Friday we've signed Basuma. That's what can happen under Paratici. Kuva says, big up Matty, always good to have you keeping us on live support when the transfer news is going slowly. Thanks for inviting me on Friday night, it was fun. Kuva, thanks for tuning in, and thanks again very much for your time on Friday. I know everyone enjoyed your input on what you had to say, so we'll definitely get you back on the channel over the summer. Moninder says Højbjerg provides leadership as well, and that's also valuable. Absolutely agree. He and Eric Dyer are the leaders in the team, the generals back there. Killian says, is Koulibaly realistic? It's been mentioned. It has been mentioned. Kalidou Koulibaly from Napoli. I personally can't see it happening, and again, it's because we're prioritising the left-sided centre back. And if we sell Sanchez, we could get another centre back. I don't think we're actively trying to improve on Eric Dyer, and I don't think we need to, because he offers a lot more than. Koulibaly is a better defender than Dyer, but Dyer, like I mentioned there, is the general. He's the leader. He orchestrates everything, and I didn't fully value that until I went to that Leicester game a couple of months ago, and I really saw just how much he does. So I don't think Koulibaly will be a Tottenham player personally. Leslie says, reports yesterday that Spurs would listen to offers for Højbjerg. I have no problem with that if his replacement is an upgrade that Conte wants. Leslie, those reports were actually retracted. So it was Gary Jacobs and another reporter from the Times who said that Tottenham could potentially sell Højbjerg. That was retracted and seems to be untrue, thankfully. But it was a worrying report there for a while. Derksen G, another super chat, says Højbjerg 4 goals in 4 PL games for us, or 4 goals in the Premier League for us. Liverpool, Wolves in 2021, and then Leeds and Villa in 21-22 season. I'm praying for 5 more signings before the end of this window. Thanks, Derksen G, for the info on Højbjerg. 5 more signings, I think, is a little bit optimistic. We've already got 3 in, or maybe it's not. We've only got 3 in. Maybe 5 more could happen. Probably depends on the outgoings. I'd love 5 more signings, 5 more breaking news streams, 5 more videos of people getting signed. That's what we all want. Thanks, RXG, for the super chat again. Travis Pedley, thank you very much for joining the Championship Members Club. Your support is greatly appreciated. We take one more question. It's got to be a good one, and it is a good one. Wagyu Beef says, would you take Jesus over Martinez? Yes, I would, because he'll be half the price and he's already prem proven, and he's more versatile. I think Martinez, in what he does, is a better player, but every other factor I think leans in favour of Gabriel Jesus. So I would take him over Lautaro Martinez. Connor says, get some sleep and exercise. Thanks, Connor, appreciate it. Yeah, I'd take Jesus over Martinez. But would we get either? who knows? Who knows? This will be your number one place to keep right up to date with all of that transfer business from Tottenham. If you haven't already, I know everyone in the live chat has, but if you are not in the live chat, if you're just watching in the depths of the background, please do make sure to hit that subscribe button if you want to be kept up to date with Tottenham's transfer business. Hit that notification bell as well so you get notified every time we upload or go live with all the breaking news for Tottenham throughout the transfer window. We're trying to get to 15k before the end of the window, or before the end of the month. And we've got 126 to go. Make sure to hit that like button down below as well. We've had 4,000 people join us, and we're not even at 500 likes yet. Gleison G says, this season, hopefully you can do watch-alongs since we have a better squad and have Champions League and a good chance for top 3 this season. Again, thank you for the super chat. Thanks for hoping to see a bit more of me. Watch-alongs are unlikely this season because, again, I work in football, so a lot of my work is weekend-based. And the last thing I want to do is watch-alongs for some games and then miss other games. I'd rather be consistent. So I think we probably won't have watch-alongs this season, but maybe every now and then, if I'm feeling good, you might see me on David's watch-alongs as well. I know you frequent that channel as well. But yeah, look, we'll wrap it up there. Again, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let's hope we've news of more signings, more incomings over the coming days and weeks. But from me, for now, and as always, thank you so much for watching.